Get some feedback on where the Lions stand in the NFL after the draft. John did not have them in the power surge, just outside. Says this is the team to win the NFC North. We got Bruno Mars tickets to give away. This hour on the show, you're going to be listening for Locked Out of Heaven by Bruno Mars. When you hear it, call in, win a pair of tickets to see him at Ford Field on May 9th. Tickets on sale, Ticketmaster.com.
It's coming up fast.
By the way, at the last stop for me, when we had the Costa lock, we used an interlude of Locked Out of Heaven as part of the sounder. So anyway, we got some text to get to on the Lions, but also let's address what you heard in the update locally. Jahmyr Gibbs gets his 5th year picked up, and Jack Campbell doesn't.
And I believe Brad Holmes addressed in his press conference the question about are you working on a contract for specifically Jack Campbell, and he said I think he said that there were discussions already happening about extending him. The reason they didn't pick up his 5th year option is because for whatever reason the NFL loops in outside linebackers as well as inside linebackers, and he would instantly, if they picked up that 5th year option, be the highest paid inside linebacker, guaranteed for 1 year in the NFL. Now, he may ultimately be the highest paid linebacker in the NFL.
But it won't be a fully guaranteed.
It won't be fully guaranteed for 1 year.
Right.
They're going to get a deal done. Jack Campbell's going to be here for the foreseeable future. But what do the cap implications mean when they sign him? Do they sign him to a 4-year deal, 5-year deal? It's I don't know, but they will get, I think, one done before the season begins.
Yeah, I would say training camp is kind of when you expect that deal to get done.
Yeah.
And Fred Warner makes 21. The next guy normally gets more than the last guy, and he's an all-pro. He may get 22 a year, but it would be a 4 or 5 year deal, not fully guaranteed.
And the bit larger cap hits will be at the
later,
end,
as opposed to the 5th year option where it would be right in your face. I get why they didn't pick up Jack Campbell's 5th year option. I have zero hesitation or doubt that he will be a Detroit Lion for a long time. The Gibbs thing was the right decision because the running back 5th year is only $14 million a season.
Right.
So you can pick up that 5th year.
Do you think they're going to do the right thing?
And the right thing being not get an extension done this offseason.
Correct.
It's funny. It's the opposite of Jack Campbell. We want to see the Jack Campbell extension get done tomorrow. I don't want to see a Gibbs extension get done until at least after this upcoming season. I want to see as he takes on more of the workload, as they put another 300, maybe 350 touches on his body, how does he hold up? And I'm not worried about getting burned because I can use the 5th year, use a franchise tag, and not make a big-time financial commitment to a position, nothing personal against Jahmyr, but a position that grinds down quickly in the NFL.
Right. What's the expiration date? And if you're looking at it and going, well, that expiration date, maybe it's year 7, year 8. Eventually, you sign him to an extension, but you have some assurances that he can withstand the workload that he's going to have to do this year.
And there's things around him, too, that I think impact this. First, what's he look like with this offensive line? Mm-hmm. And I think what's he look like without Montgomery? I think
because Isaiah Pacheco is not David Montgomery.
Exactly. I think they should see what kind of running back he is in this new world that they have, this new roster. I think it's foolish to sign him this offseason.
Agreed.
I don't understand why they would be considering it.
But they are considering it, right?
It's simply to save bucks down the road. That's the only reason to do it. Mm-hmm. They've prematurely signed a lot of other guys, and I think you can question some of those.
Well, with mixed results, right? So at the time, we felt good about almost all of them, but that carries risk. So Kirby Joseph, you sign him, he's an all-pro, no one's faulting you, but you do it early, something happens with his knee and it's wonky, and there's a chance you're going to have to eat some money if he can't get on the field. Same thing with Aleem McNeil. Again, no fault of their own. They could have waited to the end of the season. He blows out a knee, you're getting a hell of a discount. Instead, he's rehabbing while he's an expensive player on this defense. There's always a risk in doing it early. It's not like we get the deal done and we save money and there's no drawback. The drawback is, what if I pay my running back and, knock on wood,
right,
he ends up with a fairly serious boo-boo. You know, like you don't want to go down that path either. So especially not when you have cheap years still under your control.
The ideal path moving forward for the 4 guys that were drafted in that 23 draft is you sign Jack Campbell to an extension before the season starts. You wait until next year to do anything with Jahmyr Gibbs. And it may still even be a year early. Depends on what his agent wants, what he wants, and what those contract terms look like. And then with Sam Laporta and Brian Branch, now you've got to wait to see, can you stay healthy? What does Brian Branch look like when he comes back? I don't think that in fact, I would not sign either of those guys to extensions until I see that what it looks like when they're back. And if you let one of them walk, let me ask you this before I give you my answer. Out of those 3, if let's just say they proceed as we think, Jack Campbell gets signed this year, Jahmyr Gibbs, they do some type of extension next year. Which one of those guys do you let hit free agency? Do you let walk?
Laporta.
I agree.
Okay. Just to give people a little more math, I know it's early in the morning. I don't want to number geek out. The running back math. This is just purely a business thing with Gibbs. The top running backs in the NFL right now are Saquon Barkley and Christian McCaffrey from a financial standpoint. They make $19 and $20 million a season. Jahmyr Gibbs' 5th-year option will pay him $14. He's under that this year, $14 the following year. The projected franchise tag is $17 the following year. You have 3 years where Gibbs makes less than the elite backs. If you want to do the deal today, his agent's going to say, I want more than Saquon, more than Christian McCaffrey. Should you take another 1,000 touches before making that decision? I think you should.
Yeah, and okay, let's just be honest, and too, because people are going to say, well, why would he do that? All right, everyone wants a long-term deal. You want more money in your contract. But in essence, it may not be guaranteed this year, but I think we believe he's going to be on the roster and he'll make a week 1 start.
Yeah, he'll be compensated quite handsomely.
Okay. So then his guaranteed salary, which it does become guaranteed for that 5th-year option, is $14 million. It would also be fully guaranteed if he gets franchised at $17 million. So in essence, right now, he's got 3 years of guaranteed money. Now, the guaranteed money for that franchise, tag is not there. If he were to get hurt this year, if he were to get hurt next year, it's not guaranteed because he's not been tagged. He's not there.
Yeah.
So right now, in essence, he's guaranteed for this year and next,
and that's it. Which I think that's the Lions protecting themselves. If they go out and rush to extend him, they are not doing that. They're putting themselves at risk.
If Brad Holmes, and we talked about this at the beginning of the year, if he's going to operate differently, and we could clearly see that there's a little bit of a difference in how he's operating this year. He took an edge in the top 2 rounds. He took an offensive tackle. He brought in Cade Mays. Like, he's addressing some of these, quote unquote, blue collar positions.
Yeah.
Is that you learn from, hey, we extended these guys. They got hurt. Maybe we should wait. We can still, draft, develop, and sign. We just don't have to do it as early as we were doing it.
Some text coming in. Jack Campbell should be the first guy re-signed. I imagine he will be the first of this group to get a long-term deal, especially because they are incentivized to do it because they don't have the 5th-year option. They, will get it done, I would think, this summer. Why rush the Gibbs signing? I don't think there's any other running backs who will become the highest paid next year that drive his value up more. Well, Bijan's the one to watch, but if they do what we do, which is let it play out, then you're right. There's really no one you're waiting on. The Lions are not winning the NFC North. Their championship window is closed.
See, I disagree. I think that they wasted a year last year, but I think they've maybe not hit a full reset, but they've done a good job of being better in the trenches on both sides of the ball.
Tex says, how in the world do you guys like the Lions draft? Is it because they took a couple Michigan players and Moore and Rolder? They're going to be average at best. Blake Miller was a reach at 17. This may have been Holmes' worst draft. Pair that with last year's draft, this team is on the downward slide.
Well, I mean, we'll see what that production looks like as we get into next year.
I don't give a damn where any of these guys went to college.
I don't either.
And I know that's probably directed more at you than me, But at the same time, guys, Blake Miller wasn't John's first choice at tackle, but he was one of the tackles we discussed as a plug-and-play guy. Derek Moore wasn't your first choice at edge. That may surprise people because of where you went to school and where he went to school. He wasn't your first choice at edge, but he is a guy that feels plug-and-play. These are premium positions that had gone under-addressed that they used their top 50 picks on. I don't care where they went to school at all.
No. If they had taken a Buckeye tackle, linebacker, unfortunately, those guys were gone in the first round.
Right,
That's the difference of what the Ohio State Buckeyes fielded last year versus Michigan fielding last year.
Didn't they have half of the top 10 or 11 picks?
They had 11 guys drafted in this draft, which, there's other drafts where Georgia's had more, Michigan's had more, but the high-level talent that was taken from that Buckeye team is somewhat remarkable.
How about this text? For what it's worth, the Lions are the favorite on FanDuel to win the division today. That's from Don Don.
Okay.
And the Twitch comment says the same thing. The win total, Lions and Packers are tied with the highest win total in the NFC North today. I didn't think we were going out on a limb saying we thought this team would win the division. The pushback is from people who may still be scarred from last year.
Oh, right. I mean, it's scarred because you lost both times to Minnesota. For quarterbacks that, can you name one of them right now? No.
All right, guys.
I guess you can. 9.
9.
It's the 0-4 against the Vikings and Packers.
Yeah.
I mean, just don't forget, this was a 9-8 team last year with all of its problems.
And we do radio in Detroit, but if you were doing radio in Green Bay, you go, hold on, we lost 2 offensive linemen. Our best pass rusher's coming off a torn ACL. We lost our other pass rusher. I know Gary faded at the end of the year, but we didn't exactly address those positions. And again, the division champs from last year, the Bears, they didn't get anything up front for their pass rush.
They were led by their defense, and their defense got worse.
Yeah.
Lions are also sitting somewhere between 7 and 10 in terms of Super Bowl odds.
So just outside the power surge.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay, so you got your pulse on this.
Yeah, there was absolutely no way I was going to put them in the top 6. I think they could work their way into it. And like I said, depending on what this offensive line looks like, what the defense looks like, who are the safeties going to be, and I mean, let's see when the schedule comes out, who are they playing in the first couple of weeks?
Schedule comes out early May?
Yeah, I believe so.
Major event in the NFL, finding the order of the teams you already know you're going to play.
It's so bizarre.
We'll talk about the Pistons. They'll play tonight in a gotta-have-it season-on-the-line game. They'll throw the kitchen sink at the Orlando Magic. What the hell is the kitchen sink for this team? What do they have left? It's 97-1.